Want to see some railguns? System Shock! Here we go again with a tiny System Shock weapon sprite. At least we have some glowing red light this time. This is FPS Gaming's first railgun. Although it acts more like a semi-auto rocket launcher, that projectile is way too slow. Best to remember though, this is 2 years before Arnie popularised these things in 1996. It's a unique gun for the time. You get a good sense of weight when firing, but it's not giving you a clean, high-velocity, penetrating round. Cyclones. This is a railgun? Well, no, it's a Gauss gun. Gauss being the name for a unit of magnetic induction, in case you were wondering. The series will include these, also known as coil guns, as most devs didn't know the difference. As long as there's electromagnets pulling or pushing a metal slug at high velocity, I'm happy. The good folks at Raven did call this a Gauss pistol, so they're telling us there's some electromagnetic coils in there. This sci-fi example's got a good punchy shot sound at least, but the combat is really weak. In any case, it's here and you're not missing much. Hexen, Beyond Heretic. Alright, let me see here. The Sapphire Wand fires quick magical blue darts, pierces multiple enemies in a straight line. No magnets though. A so-called Rail Mage gets involved too. I dunno, I can't honestly call this a railgun. It's electromagnets versus eclectic mages, and I don't want to get those mixed up. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. It's now early 1997 and Turok's alien weapon is a clear reference to Arnie's eraser gun aesthetic, but the manual describes the gun as firing antimatter charges and uses energy cells for ammunition, not magnetically launched projectiles. The fact it does minimal damage on impact and doesn't penetrate enemies either just tips this out of the railgun category. I played this game a lot in my childhood though, and I just loved firing this thing, even if I did wish it acted more like a proper railgun. Shadow Warrior. Now it really is.
Time to get released.
Railguns are the hot new thing now, and 3D Realms knew it early on. This is a superb gun with all the futuristic looks and powerful sound you've come to expect.
You look like a stupid.
Lining up enemies for multi-damage is excellent. Biggest criticism is in the enemy impact, in that when it's not jipping your enemy instantly, which is awesome, they pretty much walk it off otherwise. This makes for a very odd sensation when you're expecting a reaction from such a powerful hit. I'm also not a fan of the inserted delay between pulling the trigger and the gun firing, but you can adapt your player to this. Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. The Rail Detonator electromagnetically launches explosive rail charges. It's our first 3D railgun and looks nice enough for the time with a neat rotation animation. Shots are impactful with a screen kick, a little pushback on your position, and very dangerous blast radius. Those slug fragments that fly off in random directions are a very neat touch. Real effort was put into this gun. A shame the enemies are garbage, just pushing around concrete blocks. The alt-fire is handy in a pinch, a good hit-and-run timed alternative. The Mysteries of the Sith expansion adds a seeking fire mode, but I draw the line at that point. No self-respecting railgun has homing projectiles. Oh, and the concussion rifle in this game isn't a railgun, even if its alt-fire has that eraser look about it. The Rail Detonator is a good effort that's leaning a lot towards a regular rocket launcher design. Quake 2. 2. When I think of Quake 2, I see and hear this weapon immediately. Such sudden power. This was the gun that made me want to play FPS shooters at an elite level, as the importance of a quick, precise aim was essential to master this weapon. Point, click, pray you hit the target. And then there's the next level of lining up your targets for double and triple kills. I love it! I won't be looking at the RTX remaster, as they ruined the look of this weapon with a completely unnecessary 3D model redesign, even if I do love real-time ray tracing and the added glow of the rails fired. Now, that original model is timeless. Yeah, it's got that melted, wobbly polygons Quake engine look to it, but for the time it was enchanting. Just what was this thing and how does it work? Then there's the sound. I think it's perfection. An instant high-tech snap to perfectly match its effect in the world. There's no wind-up time before shots like Shadow Warrior put in front of you, so you get that instant reliability and satisfaction knowing you can put a slug in any pixel at any moment. The animation is on the simple side of things, but it accurately conveys a sense of weight befitting the powerful shots. I always wanted to know if that adjustment after firing was a manual reload or just Bitterman flexing his arm after the immense recoil. Either way, it works. So, the impact is the most important aspect of any weapon, and Quake 2 again excels here with smaller enemies jibbing on the immense strength of white-hot rails, mid-tier enemies brought to their knees after one blast, but not out for the count, and even the big boys feeling the tickle of a spiral volley. Quad damage soon levels things up in these cases. Maneuvering groups of enemies into a line for some instant DNA unifying never gets old. And what a projectile that is too. Just a bunch of dots, but it so perfectly captures the sensation of an unstoppable metal slug piercing through anything in its path at lightning speed. Love that RTX remaster, particularly here. My only gripe is no glowing scorch decal is left on the surfaces. That would have been the cherry on top. To conclude, the Quake 2 Railgun still holds up today in a world of pretender retro shooters. It's without doubt one of FPS gaming's greatest guns. Solid 10 out of 10. Quake 2 The Reckoning. Did you know Quake 2 had 2 railguns? Paraphrasing the original manual, the Phalanx particle cannon is a double-barreled gun that emits 2 quantum particle accelerated magnesium slugs at unsuspecting foes, although this guy seems wise to it. This could have been genius, a pump-action double-barrel railgun, but unfortunately its projectile is slow, ugly, and despite what the manual leads you to believe, feels way more like a rocket launcher. The model looks and sounds decent enough, and I'm kinda glad they tried to offer something new in this category rather than messing around with the previous railgun. Please consider supporting on Patreon. I love it!